dear friends of the Council. I am honored to speak before you today. We live in difficult moments for humankind. The ongoing pandemic has tested our character and the resilience of our nation. The new Dominican government that I have the privilege to lead is working hard to ensure a rapid economic recovery while ensure the health and safety of our people. In facing this challenge, my government has deployed ambitious measures to jumpstart our economy and make sure we can guarantee welfare for all of our citizens. To help with economic recovery, my government will focus on the following: ensure universal coverage of health care for all Dominicans by the end of this year, 2020. Facilitate access to credit for micro, small, and medium businesses. Fiscal incentives for our flag industry such as tourism. We have even put in place a plan to cut taxes for tourism, as well as to cover health insurance of tourists that come to our country. Incentive for agricultural producers to access financing under favorable conditions, promoting food security in the DR. Is developing a national strategy for public-private partnership. In this sense, one of the most important aspects that my government is concentrating on is promoting Dominican export and foreign direct investment. The Dominican government supports the initiative Back to the America, put forth by the U.S. government, and we salute the proposal spearheaded by Senators Rubio and Menendez in this direction. One issue we will strive to solve is that of ensure the rule of law in our country. We know that for years this has been one area where the Dominican Republic has lacked. Our country has consistently scored very low international indicators of rule of law and transparency. But the new government will ensure that the situation is remedied. The Dominican Republic is the largest economy in the Caribbean, with a market of more than 10 million people and boasts a high human development index. As part of the GASTA DR, we have shown that we are committed to free trade and economic integration in our country. My government will continue to strengthen our dedication to free trade, and it is a paramount to our goal to create 600,000 jobs by 2020. We understand that the best social policy is to make sure people have jobs that allow them to fulfill their needs and potential. In this regard, I must take a moment to reiterate that we see the United States as our main ally and friend, not only because it is our first economic partner, but also because we share similar democratic values and respect for human rights. The United States represents 56% of our export, nearly $6 billion. We plan to create further incentives to make sure trade with the U.S. can grow even stronger. The Dominican Republic is uniquely positioned to be a regional hub for export as well as logistics. We have other trade treaties besides GATT DR with partners across the region, including a big part of the Caribbean Trade Agreement with the EU, EPA. Our country also boasts over a dozen investment treaties that greatly facilitate the business environment. Additionally, we have a stable political climate and a highly productive labor force. Our government is also working with the private sector to promote a more effective performance of our resources. Thank you very much, and we are very happy to be here and respond to any questions that you have.
Mr. President, thank you very much for those comments and really giving us a view of the economic plan that you have. I think the first question would be the Dominican Republic has had quite fast growth, over 5% over the last, several years. And now you've had this pandemic. So maybe talk a little bit about how you see, what would be the drivers, like, foreign investment you mentioned. There's also remittances from Dominicans abroad. and a recovery of the tourism sector. Maybe you'd like to give us a little color of your views of how to attack or approach these issues.
Yes, Andres. As you know, with this crisis, we are in a very special circumstance. Anyhow, all parts of the Dominican economy has been recovering, except tourism, because it doesn't depend on us. It depends on the culture from where the tourists come. Even there, in that area, I have spoken with all the main owners of the hotel, the hotels in the Dominican Republic. We call them tourism and hotel sector. And we have made a compromise of start opening hotels. Just in October, we will open 40% of the hotels, especially in the Punta Cana region and all over the country. But also, in November, we hope that we will have 60% of the hotels open. And at this moment, we have 50% of the reservations that we have last year, which is not bad. So that is in order that the economy and the tourism will recover. And if the tourists...
Very good. Maybe I can ask you a question about...
recover. We're having some problems with the connection.
We can hear you,
Mr. President. If the recover, I am sure that the economy will be in a normal way by, let's say, March, April next year, that I think will also come with the vaccine that several parts of the world they are preparing. So we are very optimistic. We are very positive that by March, April of next year. Also, in terms of the remittance, it has increased the remittance to our country, which has also helped us for the balance of payment. So we have at this moment, a very stable macroeconomic situation in the. We have taken a lot of measures in our government to have a good quality of spending of our budget. We have eliminated a lot of institutions that did nothing for the quality of life in the Dominican Republic, and also transferring these funds to areas like health, like financing for micro, protecting our women and enhancing them to be entrepreneurs, and areas where really we can have a development.
Yes, Mr. President, you've taken some bold proposals on your budget to make sure that you have a sustainable long-term budget. And so I really congratulate you on that. Another area that's very important for the Dominican Republic is energy. You know, we at AES have been a happy investor in the Dominican Republic and are continuing to invest. You know, we're building a second gas tank, gas pipelines, you know, to the east. We'd be willing to build one to the north as well. And this is a very important commercial exchange with the U.S. because the natural gas would be coming from the U.S. So I guess the question I'd have is a little bit, I've heard that you're interested in making some reforms to the energy sector, and I would like to hear about them.
Yes, we are very happy also with having you as a very good investor in our company. AES has been a very good company with the country, Dominican Republic, and also ICE has developed together. And we hope that you can invest more in our country. For example, with that project that we have in Manzanillo, in the North Coast, that we will have a master plan of development with an energy, also where we have an area for natural gas and energy generation that we will put for an open licitation for that you can bet, and as well as other companies in the next month. So we're very happy with AES. In terms of the electric sector. As you know, we have a problem with the companies, the commercial distributors of electricity. They have been, for decades, have been creating deficit, not just in the companies, but also to our budget. Half of the deficit of the public, of the non-financial public sector, come from these distributors of energy. So we are thinking, and in our government proposal was that the management of this, at least the management of this electricity distributor, be in the hands of the public, the private sector, and to be managing a more effective and also a productive way. That would be a very good, a very big change because it will eliminate the politics from that commercial and distribution that has created, as you know, deficit for during the last 20 years, and that deficit has gone to the depths of the government. So that we are working on that proposals in order that the private sector can also participate on that transformation.
Excellent, very interesting. I'd like to talk, maybe switch a little bit towards the relations with the United States. You know, in your inauguration, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who was one of our speakers on the series here, came to your inauguration, and you mentioned in your opening that you see the United States as, you know, perhaps your closest friend, or let's say major friend in the area. So maybe you could talk a little bit about, you know, one of the issues that the Dominican Republic has had really has been Haiti, in terms that if Haiti is an economy that's not done well, and they have, you know, sent a lot of, you know, poor people over to the Dominican Republic and caused problems there. So how do you see this sort of situation with Haiti and other countries in the region?
Yes, yes, Andres. As you said, the United States will have a special relationship, as I think as never before. We will cooperate in the fight against narcotics in the region, against international crime. We will work together to fight international crime, and also to promote democracy in the whole region. And I don't have to say why we need this special relation. And at the same time, with this administration, we share the same democratic values. In terms of Haiti, it is a big problem for us and also for the region. And I see that the Dominican Republic, as our Minister of Foreign Affairs said yesterday, there is not just a Dominican solution for Haiti. It cannot be a Dominican solution for Haiti. It has to be a regional for Haiti. We can be the leader in terms of organizing a group that can help Haiti. But it has to be very clear that the Dominican Republic cannot be the solution for the Republic of Haiti. We have to be good friends. We have to cooperate in development. But we are two very different countries, and we have to we have to make a very strong message to the international community that everybody, and we can be leader on that, but everybody has to organize in terms of helping Haiti to help themselves. And for that, they have to organize politically in a better way. They have to modify their ways, make a stronger government. In terms of other countries of the region, as I said, we are going to develop democracy and be a promoter of the values of democracy in the whole region, also of free trade, cooperation in every way, starting from the cooperation fighting crime as the way as also as developing investment and the competitive industry that our countries have and that we have also in the region. I think if we can have a group and we can organize better than ever and in the best way our economic development together.
I think that makes a lot of sense, and the Inter-American Development Bank and other people can play a key role there. And I think that Dominican companies can help, if a more prosperous Haiti help develop it. Certainly we could send energy to Haiti, construction, other things coming from the Dominican Republic.
That's one of the Andres, that we have, that we can export and get energy to Haiti from the north and from the south of the island.
Yes, and that Haiti needs so much. And again, the better Haiti does, I think the better for the Dominican Republic. And I think the way you've expressed the problem is absolutely right. It needs a hemispheric approach, and it's can't just be up to the Dominican Republic by itself. It needs resources from the big countries in the hemisphere. I have here a question from one of our participants, and it's really, you've given this vision of modernizing the Dominican Republic, incorporating, women, more social programs, more help. And here's really, how does the digital agenda fit into this? Because a lot of the things that you're attempting to do, whether it's health, whether it's a more efficient and transparent government, obviously, digital could help make that a reality.
That's a very good question, Andre. Today, we have an announcement to make to the country that we are working to make a proposal for companies, telephone and internet companies that we have here in Dominican Republic and also for others in the region and in the world, to make a licitation for the 5G. There has been no work on the 5G of the previous government. Now we are going to move, be very far behind on the digital agenda, to be on the first line of transformation, on the digital transformation with the 5G. As today, at 3:30 p.m., I am doing a press conference telling the country and the participants of that sector how we are going to move from here to January in order to make a licitation for the 5G. That, as you know, will help us very much in every way, and especially to make our industry much more competitive. That will also help us to transform the government to be a digital government. We have transformed one of the vice minister of the presidency to be my vice minister for digital transformation, and we are working that also in the government. At the same time, this problem of the pandemic, especially in the education sector, in the high school and school, it has helped us on trying to eliminate that digital breach that we have in poor and middle class and weak Dominica. Because at this moment, we will start, and we are working on that direction. On the 2nd of November, we will start the school year. And it will start by TV, it will start by internet, and for that, we are acquiring 1.5 million tablets, notebooks, and we have given laptops to all the teachers of the country. And also at this moment, we have 400 between notebooks and also laptops on site to give it to them. And 1.5 million on the process of acquiring it. That will be a very big jump on the digital, especially that 8 years old will have notebook and 15 years old on the high school will have notebook. That will be an enormous sacrifice for our government. But we cannot permit that certain areas of the country can start the virtual year and the poor neighborhood and poor sector of our country cannot start. So the government is responsible to go and help all those that cannot start the virtual school year. And we are doing that, and that will help a lot on the digital transformation of our country.
That's really wonderful to hear how technology can also help sort of educational inclusion and really leapfrog technology. So that is really fantastic.
I think, Andres, just to finish with that, one of the few good things of this pandemic is that because of the virtual obligation that we have, like in this meeting, what was going to take was 5 years to do it, we have to do it in 5 months. And I think that's one of the lessons of this crisis, and that's one of the few positive things that we get from it.
Yeah, we've all had to change, including the council, in terms of how we operate. But as you say, a lot of good things have come out. We actually reached more people and have had more meetings than ever, because it used to be meeting in New York or meeting in Washington or meeting in Miami. And this is a perfect lead into the next one. How does the Dominican Republic take advantage of the shifting supply chains? There's much more after the COVID. People are thinking of sourcing closer to home. And so I think that will be good for the Dominican Republic as U.S. companies seek to source, closer to the United States instead of having the supply chains so concentrated in China. So I think you've given some ideas how that's been going. And related, do you see what is the role of the free trade zones in this sort of nearshoring, as they call it?
Yeah, that's what I said. The nearshoring, we are very much optimistic on the nearshoring. We're working very close to the U.S. government and other private sector groups. I think the Dominican Republic is in a very special position to benefit from that. And even before my inauguration, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Commerce, and our institutions to promote investment and trade, they are working together to establish a more facilitated, let's say like that, way for the nearshoring. Our free zones at this moment has a lot of proposals to be installed in the DR. I think that's one of the industries that is becoming stronger from this crisis, and we are working with them to facilitate the necessary infrastructure so they can establish in the country and at the same time create jobs. Our main goal of our goal. So in that sense, Andres, we are working. There are very important companies looking to establish in the DR, and we hope in the next year that hundreds of companies will establish in the Dominican Republic, and we are open for that. And we are, this government will be very fast on looking on the time of permits necessary to establish. We have a program called Zero Bureaucracy, Efficient Government that we are starting to implement in the country in order that you can establish a company in 24 hours. You can get a permit very fast in any, notwithstanding what industry you are investing, in order to facilitate the investment and facilitate jobs. The 600,000 jobs that we are expecting to create in the next 4 years, we are an important part of that job. We are because that will be through the nearshoring.
Excellent. Now that you mentioned 5G and the digital revolution, one of the points in conflict has been between the U.S. and China, regarding let's say influence in that area. And so generally, how are you? This is an area where it's a country like yours has to balance the two things, balance many things. So a little bit, how are you thinking about that in that particular area?
When I say today that we're going to make the licitation for that, will be the companies that promotes that service. We have here 4 companies that do the service and promote internet service. So this technology will be promoted by them. After they propose, then we will see and analyze from the security point of view. But it is not the government that will establish the 5G. It will be the private international company that will propose on that direction. And I think that these international companies are very much working on any security issues with the U.S. and regarding that 5G.
Interesting. You mentioned DR CAFTA, and so how can the Dominican Republic take more advantage of DR CAFTA? I mean, I think you have a more digital and inclusive government, and you also have the free trade zones, and you have the nearshoring. So then the question is that I'm getting here really is, how can you take greater advantage of DR CAFTA? And also, are you thinking of other free trade agreements to incorporate into this, export-oriented Dominican Republic?
Yeah, we will, any new trade agreement, we will analyze by case. But in the DR CAFTA trade agreement, I think that from my point of view, we have not developed the export from Dominican Republic as we should. I think it has been beneficial for both countries. The commerce has increased, but in our country, import has increased much more than the export. And I think we have to level that. And to level that, the government has to work with the private sector to be more competitive. And there we are working very closely with the competitive council that you have all the main business sectors in that council in order that we go case by case to be more competitive, and at the same time, the government, I think, should help more on the logistics and on the promotion of export. Also, in this month, at the end of this month, we will launch what we call a Dominican Republic brand in order to create our brand with all the good things that this country has, and that also can help us promote our export. We are working on a investment cabinet that we recently created in order that this investment cabinet will work on the competitive side and the promoting part to try to develop more export to the United States and to other countries where we have the CAFTA trade agreement. We don't say we're open to other free trade agreements, but we were analyzing that case by case. At this time, we have free trade agreement, as you know, with the US, with Europe, with other countries, and that is a very special opportunity for countries to establish, to manufacture in the Dominican Republic and to export without any access to the main markets of the world.
I got another question here. What are the plans for the green economy, and in especially sort of climate change mitigation in the Dominican Republic?
You know that this climate situation in the world cannot be dealt by one country, and not by a very small country like we are. This is a world problem. This is a problem that all countries we have to work. We maintain and work and design the Paris agreement, and we are working and respecting that Paris agreement. At the same time, we are trying to work with the green economy. We're going to develop a special financing line for recycling in the whole country, and we have been very far behind on this sector. And also, one of the plans that this government had advanced decades that we have of not working on the green economy, trying to get to the point that we have to care about the world. We have to be on recycling. One of the examples that I wanted to lead is that my car is a Tesla. It's an electric car, and also with the BID of our working with a 10-year electric mobility plan that in 2030. At least 25% of the cars in the Dominican Republic will be electric. And on the recycling, as I said, we are doing a line of financing for recycling in every sector of industry of the DR.
Well, Mr. President, this has been fascinating.
One good thing, Andres, is that, as you know very well, we are increasing natural gas for the production of electricity in our country. And I think that the programs that we have in the north will be increasing more. And as you know, that natural gas, even it's a non-renewable energy, is a very clean energy to produce electricity.
Well, Mr. We've run out of time, but I have gotten several. One question that I need to address with you, and that's really regarding the health sector and the vaccine distribution. If you could give us very quickly, a little bit your views of how you're going to distribute the vaccine and any other comments you want on the health sector.
At this moment, we already have the logistics to distribute the vaccine in the country. We also, with the help of a group of businessmen, we are making a deposit that in the next week we will announce in order to buy 10 million vaccines from one source. And this is, I can say, the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine that they are developing. But at the same time, we are working on the OMS, OPS, in order for the first vaccine that is available to distribute. But in that special vaccine project, which is in Oxford, with a group of businessmen already from their own source, and the Carlos Slim Foundation in Mexico, we had an agreement for 10 million, as I said, vaccines. We will apply to 5 million Dominicans because that vaccine has to be applied in 2 vaccines in order to have a 100% effect. So we are prepared on the logistics, and we are prepared also. The first vaccine, secure vaccine that we have will be applied in the Dominican Republic.
Excellent. So unfortunately, Mr. President, this has been fascinating. It's hard not to feel enthusiastic about your government in the Dominican Republic. As someone who has big investment plans underway in the Dominican Republic, I invite others to join. I think it's really, again, congratulate you for all the initiatives that you have underway. On behalf of the Council of Americas, thank you so much for your time. Count on us as to be to work with your administration to get the messages out. When we can all meet in person, we'd like to welcome you to our New York or Miami or Washington office. So I want to also thank everybody who dialed in. I also want to thank everybody for your questions. Very happy to see you. We're going to continue with this phenomenal series, this conference on the Americas, which has been virtual. Hope to see you again, and stay well and stay safe. So thank you very much, and Your Excellency, thank you so much.
Thank you, Andres. Thank you, Eric. Thank you to all the people of Council of the Americas. And I just want to tell all of that this is the time to invest in the Dominican Republic.
Thank you.